Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Science. In today's LED lighting environment, we encounter an amazing amount of variables on set. With so many types of lights with different outputs and cameras with different sensitivities, consistency is hard to come by. It's a little bit unpredictable out there. So, what's on the call sheet today? Color control. Before we get into color control, I think it's important to discuss some underlying issues. And to do that, we need to start talking about light and what is color. Light is a form of electromagnetic radiation that falls within a very narrow bandwidth, which is visible. That bandwidth encompasses the tiny portion of wavelengths roughly between 380 nanometers and 780 nanometers. As you can see, different wavelengths produce different colors when perceived with the human eye. Back in 1931, a group called the International Commission on Illumination, or CIE from the original French name, defined how colored light was perceivable to the human eye and came up with this iconic chart, CIE 1931. A few decades later, to better represent color as a map, they stretched and pulled CIE 1931 into CIE 1976. This represents the gamut of color visible to the human eye. You can see the different areas of the color space, and ringing its edges are 3-digit numbers that reflect the wavelength of light in nanometers. Along the bottom and up the side run the coordinate axes. Any color within this gamut can be selected geographically with its unique coordinate. Now, this gamut represents the limits of human color perception. The lights we use on set will have a different gamut based on where their component diodes lie. For example, these are the locations for the red, green, and blue in the rainbow series. Connecting these lines to form a triangle gives us the color space available in the rainbow series lights. Any color in this area can be created and is called the gamut of color possibilities, or color space. Now, there is another area of great interest. This curved line is the Planckian locus, or blackbody curve. This line essentially represents white light, and the hash marks indicate color temperature in Kelvin degrees. Above or below this line, we start to delve into greens and magentas. Here, we come across one of our first issues with color control. When trying to combine two diodes that sit on the blackbody curve but are of two different color temperatures, we get an unexpected result. For example, if you have a 2000 and a 6000 degree Kelvin diode, blending them will not land you on the white light curve. The combinations form a direct line between each point, and you will find yourself off the curve and leaning into magenta. This will happen when mixing any two white diodes of different color temperature. The further apart on the curve, the greater the dip into magenta. One solution? RGB diodes. They can adjust the color whichever direction to get the light back onto the white light curve. When programming plus or minus green to compensate, color temperatures inadvertently cool when adding green and warm when adding magenta. Calibrating tint correction without CTT shifts is another way to better control color. Our eyes naturally discern some things better than others. We notice the difference between warmer color temperatures more than cooler. The study of these responses, and indeed any human response to outside stimuli, is called psychophysics. Now, within psychophysics, the concept of trying to find the liminal point, the point where something is noticed, is called just noticeable difference, or J&D for short. Anything lower than that point is subliminal. Employing J&D when adjusting color temperature can also help control your light output in a more intuitive way. Okay, let's take a step back and look at the various spectral fingerprints of different LED lights. Each of these lights is emitting the same color coordinate. This is RGB, half RGB and half RGBX, and now RGBX. LED volumes usually emit spectrum like the left one, whilst most LED fixtures on set vary widely. But regardless of the particular features of any of these light outputs, it's undeniable that the spectral fingerprints of each of these 3 lights are different. If you had them side by side on set, as you often do, you would get dramatically different results on camera, as seen previously in the 4Fs episode. So a solution could be to control the spectral output. If you have a light that emits the best possible spectrum, degrading that spectral output to match the other lights might be a necessary and helpful way to control your color. Spectrum control is a possible way to balance the differences in light output over different fixtures. Tying saturated color output levels to the white light output ensures a more stable and measurable output. We call this hue intensity equalization. It automatically calibrates any saturated color's energy level to your chosen white light output. So, to properly set camera exposure for saturated colors, dial in your exposure with your white light and add in any color you want. So, as you can see with LEDs, while they offer numerous technical and creative benefits, they're not without their complications. So follow me for a second. Think of light fixtures similar to pizza. Each vendor will give you their own version of tomato sauce and cheese, but they'll all be different. Every light fixture is giving you their own version of light. Depending on the diode's composition, the color gamut, the spectral fingerprint, and the output control, you'll have a widely varying results for ostensibly the same thing. They're all giving you pizza. Having multiple methods to control light output will be invaluable to maintaining predictable and consistent results. So as always, stay safe, and we'll see you at Crafty. Control your light output in a more intuitive way. I know, Tristan. I still got one part. I saw your head wag so judgmentally. It doesn't distract my performance at all because I'm professional, but God, jeez. Are you not entertained yet?
No jamming. You're on camera.